Pew 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 pew. Pew 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 pew.
Spiking bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Baer, and today we're taking a little walk down memory lane. Well, maybe not so far back, because this is the Armiger. It is relatively new, but maybe not getting enough respect with all the releases here lately for the Imperial Knights. Now, this little guy originally came out in the Forgebane box, combo box with Necrons and Admech that came out over Adepticon weekend. I think that was March 23rd, 2018, with the Hellglaive and also the Multi-Melta version of it. Fortunately, they did come out with a shootier version of it with the Knights release here recently. And if you happen to have a bunch of the close combat ones, you can buy some upgrade bits from Game Gadgets Plus over on Shapeway's 3D printing store right there, and that's what's pictured right here. If you don't want to buy the new longer autocannon multi-part kit from Games Workshop. Now, obviously, they both work. They're both guns, they fit on there. You can magnetize them. We did a little tutorial on that as well. I think these are 1/4-inch magnets, but we'll put the link below so you can check all of that out right there. But like I said, I don't feel like the Armiger's gotten its fair shake out there because everybody was kind of panning it at first because of its points cost, and now it's out and they're actually pretty useful, at least the shooting versions for the Knight Codex. Now you don't get the bonus points and stuff for the command bonus points for taking them in a super heavy detachment. You only get that if you take the bigger sizes, but that's okay. So this one right here was painted by Tim here at Bits Studio. He is a very well-versed painter. He actually used oil washes on this, which is kind of why it looks a little bit different than anything we've ever showed you here. It's very stark, but it's also contrasts very well and flows together. And what's cool about oil washes is that you have so much time to work them in and actually get them everywhere you want them, instead of the stuff we've shown you before with the Airbrush Flow Improver. It gives you time, but it doesn't give you the kind of time that an oil wash does. And man, it really pops. It really works. Like, look, this is just a basic steel with a little bit of some sort of brown. I actually think this might be an umber, perhaps, mixed into the wash, or it could have just been spritzed on with the airbrush. I don't exactly know, just kind of looking at it, trying to deconstruct the paint job here, because I'm really smitten with it. I borrowed this to do the unboxing for the 3D parts, and I was like, you know what, let's just do a showcase on this bad boy because it's really dope looking. So once you get all of your airbrush work and everything done, and then you hit it with the oil wash, I mean, that just really, there's something about an oil wash and airbrush work that really just brings it all together. I mean, it gets down in those cracks. It really, kind of filters out the shade and everything of all your airbrush work. Here, Tim just used a very classic OD green from Vallejo that I think looks phenomenal in this setting right here. The Sweet Heats Triad from Secret Weapon Miniatures, always a classy look and very, very easy to do as long as you have an airbrush. I haven't tried to dry brush it on, but I don't think it's quite recommended for that. A little bit of black spritzes, black fades here. And then of course he used pigments. Check it out. He used full-on pigments, and you can see how they reacted to the oil wash as well. So there's a lot of different techniques out there. I personally don't like the oil system, although at some point I'll probably get on here and rant and rave about how it changed my life and how I love it and how I can't believe I went so many years without using it. But for right now, it's just not in my wheelhouse. But obviously for Tim, he's doing quite well with it. I think we can all agree. And a little bit of stencil work up here really kind of pulls the whole thing together with this whole USA kind of giant freaking robots from World War II theme, I feel like. Now, rules-wise, these guys, like I said, they're actually very, very versed. There's a couple different roles they can do. Obviously, the close combat ones are better suited at close combat. They are the cheaper of the two. The Warglaives clock in at 164 when you pay for the stubber up top. I hope I didn't lose that. I'm sorry, Tim, if I lost your stubber. But normally there's a stubber up here at very minimum. And then the Armiger Hellvern right there, which is the shooty version, that has the autocannons, each one shooting 2d3 heavy shots. But look, the kicker is that they ignore the penalty to hit rolls for moving and firing a heavy weapon, which means if you move, normally you're -1 to firing your heavy weapon. These guys are not. They're hitting on 3s, doing the Lord's work for only 174. And that 4 is, again, for the stubber up top, which actually I just thought about it. I've played many games and I forgot in each and every one of them to shoot the stupid stubber up top. So more shots coming my way soon, but I digress. Gosh, I can't believe I did that. I'll tell you what, 40K is no longer a pass or fail game. It is definitely something you're just trying to get a B or perhaps a B+, maybe an A- on your best days, but there's so much to do and so much to learn. It really behooves you to play the same factions over and over again, just so you can, come at a point of confidence with your opponent. Now, I digress. So one of the cool things about both of these is that there's so many good stratagems out there that pair well with these bad boys. And of course, there are, some household traditions. Personally, I like right now, I'm on a House Raven kick, which is even better for these guys because when they make an advance move, they get to treat their heavy weapons as assault weapons. So they will still suffer -1 for advancing and firing an assault weapon because that isn't in the cards right here, so to speak, for their special weapon. But being able to move an amazing 14 plus an advance roll to maybe get them around the corner or get them into range, it's not going to work every time. So you might not want to do it, but at least moving and getting them upfield, getting them into the center of the table to do the 360 whirlwind of DACA always seems to do well in my games, because in the ITC, there's a lot of, hey, you got to be in a table quarter, just getting up there, holding an objective, because a lot of times there's one in the center. These guys, when you got other big stompy Tyrannosaurus Knights walking around, these guys seem to go unimposed for the most part. Now, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the Warglaives themselves, but just know that you can do some cool stuff like bring them in on your opponent's board edge, almost like the old Space Wolf Wolf Scouts back in the day from any board edge. You can't do it on turn 1 because, remember, you are not set up on the table, so I don't think this pertains. We may see an FAQ to where that is allowed, but I'm just going to err on the side of caution and say you can't do it on turn 1. But there's nothing like a close combat mini knight coming in on your opponent's back line just to sow disruption. I tell you what, if I leave my guards, mortar teams and stuff back there, and a knight appears in a backfield to not only go after an objective, but also just to disrupt all those squads of mortars and stuff, I'm gonna be a little upset. So disrupting the enemy is always funsies. And then of course, there is the Bond of Oathmen's stratagem, which allows you to heroic intervene with these guys. It doesn't prevent an assault, but allows them to get into grips to hopefully try to protect the Big Daddy Knights that they might be flanking around. And then there's actually one where if the knight stands still, everything gets a 5-up around it. But that's only for Dominus, and it doesn't really matter because these guys have an ion shield. Anywho, there is also, let's see, another one too that's pretty good, that pack hunters, if they charge in, the rest of the armigers within 12 after they make their charge move. So remember, you can't charge unless you're within 12, so you want to kind of work your angles really good here so you don't mess this up. But rerolling charge distances is always good too. Now, one of my personal favorite things to do as of late is take the Hellvern and activate Sky Reaper protocols on things, because you're hitting on 3s with no, negative to actually moving and firing the heavy weapon. Activate Sky Reaper protocols, and now if you're targeting things with keyword fly, which is actually a lot of stuff out there, most of my games I'm able to put some shots on something super important and then go ahead and reroll those 1s and 2s with the Sky Reaper protocol. It's only for one of the Hellvern, but let me tell you what, when you got 4 D3 shots coming through, on average that's 8 at strength 7 neg 1, but 3 damage each, you really have a force multiplier here if you play this. And you can split fire if you're taking them in a squad, or you can just activate a lone one, whichever. But do not sleep on Sky Reaper protocols. This will save your butt. It's great against Tau, it's great against all the Eldars because they always have their tricksy fly stuff, and those freaking shield captains that are running amok out there right now. This may not do all the damage to them, but you get a couple of lucky ones through from a couple of these guys, and you will cripple, if not kill, a shield captain. And the shield captain going down is a huge win in my book if he's not mine on the tabletop. Yes, I do it too. That's okay, because I had a Custodian's army way before any of this happened, so I don't feel that. So that's my thoughts on the Knight Armigers and their uses. So there it is. Hopefully this little guy has now had his day in the hobby sun, giving you some ideas perhaps for how to paint yours, and also maybe how to use them a little bit more effectively, and give you some ideas on some of the combos out there in game as well. Now I can tell you right now when I paint mine up, I'm probably not going to do that on the barrels, but I am going to definitely use those sweet heats on my multi-meltas 100% for sure. And that's the beauty of picking up these upgrade bits, because everybody has one of these, and it's a lot easier to just scoop up these bits and go have both, because you never know when you might need an extra option for any of your units in 8th edition 40k. I always prefer to future-proof my models than be backtracking and backpedaling as soon as an FAQ or a new supplement or codex or something like that drops. So that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed our latest hobby showcase on one of our very own artists here in the studio. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to be the very first to like and comment on all these videos.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.